This video is sponsored by Vinolution. If you need custom-made vinyl stickers for anything, be it your car, around the home, or custom gifts, get in contact with Vinolution now at vinolution.uk or follow the link in the description. Hi folks, welcome to another Qashqai video. I've just recently done a voting poll on my YouTube page where I asked you guys to choose what video came next, and you went with this one, which is a guide on the climate control system in the Qashqai. As usual, just quickly, this is a J11 model, so it's a 2014. This is a Tecna as well, but hopefully your climate control setup and settings will look pretty much the same as this. If you do want to take part in future polls on Decide on the next videos, then please do hit subscribe, because then you'll be able to vote and we'll hopefully get your choice and the next video. So let's go through it. First of all, I'm going to go through each button, what each button does, and then I'm going to go through some examples for you. See me in the reflection. Hello everybody. So starting over here on the far left, we've got the max windscreen button. So what that will do is turn everything on, full blast, air conditioning included. The fans will go on full speed to clear your front windscreen. Underneath that, we've got air conditioning. That turns on your air conditioning system. Moving over to this first knob here, auto. You will make this system do everything it can to get to the temperature that you select. That's easy for me to explain when I have the engine running and showing you these things in working. Also, this side is a turnable knob to adjust the temperature on the passenger side. Moving across, we've got the recirculation button. What that does is open a vent in the passenger side footwell, and that will recirculate the air in the car. It's very useful if you're in a smoky area and you don't want the smell getting into the car. Then we've got the fan speed down and fan speed up buttons. On off, which is fairly self-explanatory. Underneath are the three settings for the way you want the fans blowing the air: windscreen, the upper dash, and then the footwell or lower dash. Onto this button, another turnable knob, that is for the driver's side temperature, and the dual button is for if you want the passenger side a different temperature to the passenger side a different temperature to the driver's side, sorry. And then these two buttons here are your two heated screen buttons. The top one is the heated windscreen, the bottom one is the heated rear windscreen, and also is the heated wing mirror button. Not a lot of people know that, but that also turns on your heated wing mirrors. So now if we get the car started, I can show you through some of the examples of these buttons. So start the car up. There we go. Make sure the stereo's off. Okay, so I'll try and do my best that you can hear me through this bit, because obviously at some point the fans are going to turn on full blast. Excuse me. So we'll go again to starting at the left hand side. So by pressing the windscreen max button, what's going to happen is the air conditioning is going to turn on, and whatever temperature setting I've got it set at, the fan speed will go on full blast and blow solely at the windscreen. Hopefully you can still hear me, but you can see it's set to windscreen only. Fans are on full, air conditioning is on, and whatever temperature I've got it set at is what it's going to blow the air at. Obviously I can adjust that all the way up to the top if I wanted to. Press it again, it turns back to whatever setting it had it on previously. Air conditioning button, oops, losing the camera. Air conditioning button just turns on the aircon. You won't really notice anything. If your air conditioning is fully working, you should hear a clunk, and that is the air conditioning condenser turning on and working. Now moving on to the one that is really useful, and you should probably always have it set on, is auto. Now let's say, I mean today what is it? It's 11 degrees, it's rainy, it's not a brilliant day. Let's say I got in the car quite early this morning and it was, you know, -1, freezing cold. So I want the car to warm up. So I'm going to put it on the highest temperature, which is 30. If you go above 30, it goes to high and it will just blast air out. So I'm going to put it on 30 and I'm going to press auto. Now what's going to happen is all of your directions turn off, the aircon turns on, and your fans will slowly increase when the car knows it can blow out air at that desired temperature. So if I turn the temperature down now and I want it suddenly to be really cold, so go down to 17 degrees, you'll see, look, the fans have dropped down. That's because the car knows it can't put out 17 degree air. what will happen over time, perhaps while I'm talking, the fans will slowly increase as the car can put out that temperature. So what happens now, because there's no vent settings on, what it's actually doing is blowing it out on all three. It's sort of trying to circulate the air and get to that temperature that you're asking for, 17 degrees. So like I said, you saw that it was actually happy to put out 30 degrees. That's because I've just driven home from work, so the car's heated up. So if I put it to perhaps 25, there we go, look, it knows it can do that temperature because it's on a warm setting. A bit higher, there we go. So it's already trying to put out hot air. That's why when I drop it down to 17, it drops down, because it hasn't got that temperature in the system ready to push out. So that's quite a useful thing to use. It does use your aircon, so obviously it increases your fuel consumption, but it is actually a very useful feature. So let's go ahead and turn that off. To turn that off, by the way, you just need to override it to set a manual setting. So if I just put the temperature, the fan up a bit, it turns auto off. So moving on, the recirculation. Hopefully you will hear the flap in the footwell open. So if you listen carefully. Nope, didn't really hear it. So there is a flap in the footwell. You can't access it really, it's just an electronic flap that opens and closes. And now what is happening is the car is recirculating the air, so it's sucking the air in and blowing it out at the temperature I'm asking it for. I'm getting cold, so I'm going to turn that back up to 20 something. There we go. So that's what that one does. Obviously, like I said, your fans up and down, those ones there, on off, literally does just that. And these are the different vent settings then. So like I've said before when I was telling you about the buttons, each one does a different thing. You can have it just on one, you can have it on just on two, or you can have all three. Up here it shows you what you've got it on. So that is just the windscreen, that is just straight at the face, and that is at the footwell. Moving over here, so this is the dual. So if you put dual on, you got the dual sign comes up. You can now change the passenger side. So in my case with my wife, she's always really cold, so she would have it on 29. I don't know, on 19. And what that does is it splits the air. It's not a perfect system. Obviously the air doesn't stay on one side, so it's kind of useful. It blows directly out the vents at that temperature or thereabouts. A quick way also of doing dual, so if I press dual again, what's going to happen is it's going to turn dual off, so the passenger side will go to the driver's side, like so. You can turn dual on by the passenger adjusting their temperature, like so. So that's now turned dual on, got dual on the display. So finally these two buttons then, so again, not really much I can tell you about them, apart from that if you press them, that will increase the revs because it requires a bit of extra power to heat the whole windscreen. And the rear one, that's now got the rear screen is now heated, as well as the mirrors. So just to prove to you, because some people don't believe this, that the mirrors are heated, it's just rained. You can see the mirrors are currently covered in spots of rain. I'll go back to them in a second once I've finished talking about these, and you'll see that they've slightly cleared of that rain. So yeah, a little function of this heated windscreen, like I said, as you can hear, turn it off. When you turn it on, it does increase the revs. So you know, if it's a cold morning and you need the car to warm up quickly, or it's a little bit lumpy as we're finding some of our diesels are at the moment with the cold weather, turning that on, it increases the RPM at the idle speed, not a lot, probably by about 100 to 150 revolutions per minute. It is quite useful to get the car warmed up quickly. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The mirrors are just starting to clear a little bit, doesn't look like it on the camera. Just running through your vent locations then, obviously you've got the obvious ones here, two in the middle, which I've currently got an air freshener and a phone holder, and the driver's side one. The ones above it are angled to clear your side windows, so they're quite useful. They blow air out if you have it on the windscreen setting. So if you're getting misted up side windows, they're quite useful for clearing that. The main windscreen demisters are there. They're angled, so they should cover the whole windscreen. There aren't any in the back, unfortunately. So yep, backseat passengers are going to just be cold, I'm afraid. I can't really, they aren't going as quick as I thought, but they are warming up. So yeah, this is a useful little tip for you there. But that's kind of it. Not a lot else I can tell you about this climate control system. It is very useful. Do have a go at using that auto function. It is very, very useful. It does use fuel because of the aircon, but it is clever because, you know, if you need it to get hot and it's a cold day, it's not going to blow out cold air at you. It's going to wait until it warms up and then it's going to blow warm air at you. Just on the note of the auto setting, the sensors the car uses to work out what the temperature is in the car are actually above, up here. If ever you've wondered what are up here, they're inside there. There's two sensors. So these are your alarm sensors. In here is your auto climate control sensors, as well as the microphone for your hands-free phone. So that's it, guys. Any questions, as usual, just ask. Feel free to subscribe. Like I said, it's great that we've really flown over that 1,000 subscriber target that I had. I really do appreciate it. And look out for more videos and more polls in the future. See you soon.